I made a post the other day about me staying with my kid's father after he had 2 kids on me, and ever since I made that post, a lot of people have been inboxing me because they want more tea. At first, I was not going to respond, and then I said, you know what? Maybe my story can help someone else. But for the ones who don't know what I'm talking about, I made a post last week about me staying with my kid's father after he had 2 kids on me. A lot of people wanted to know, why did I stay with him after he had not 1 but 2 kids? And my response to that is, that's not even the reason why I left that man. But I decided that I will go down this memory lane with you guys, but I'm still not going to give a lot of detail. What I'm giving you is a lot anyway, but I'm not going to get in crazy. The things you're about to hear are crazy, but just know I'm leaving a lot out. So we're going to say this is part 1. All right, so I used to go to the school in the Bronx called Dodge High School or whatever, and that's where I met my kid's father. All right, so boom, I met him in high school, and he was an A student and I was not. The ones who don't know, I was a cutter. I was that girl that go to school from, no, I would come in, go to 3rd period, so they could mark my attendance, and then I would leave in the middle of 3rd or 4th period. But then as I got close with my kid's father, I started to kind of like school. Kind of because I liked him, and then by liking him, I stayed in school, and by staying in school, I did my work, and by staying in school doing my work, I ended up graduating. Okay. Let me just give you a little bit of background. And parents, I'm sorry, but we're being transparent in this new year. Like, we're not going to sugarcoat anything. I grew up in a 2-family household, but those talks, like the talks that I have with my kids and my husband have with our children today, are not the talks I got when I was younger. So I did not know how a man was supposed to treat me. And because of that, I accepted anything. I may have acted tough, like on the outside, but inside, like even now, like I'm a marshmallow, okay? But don't get that twisted though, because, but anyway, so, you know, how I grew up, my mom was very aggressive, always said what's on her mind. And then my dad, he had his ways too, but he wasn't like my mother. But my mom used to always tell me about guys, but my father never had that talk with me. And I feel like this. I feel like when you have daughters, men need to have a talk with their daughters about guys, because I just feel like the perspective is different. When a woman is telling you about a man or how men should treat you, you like, yeah, okay. But when you hear from a guy, it's like, oh, like, you know what I mean? So I just want to give you that little bit of whatever. So anyway, he was like the biggest hoe in the school, okay? Like, and that should have been a red flag, but I was just like in my head, you know what? He's young, I'm young, like, who's faithful anyway? Like, he say he like me and I like him a lot, so why not just continue? Whatever happens, happens. I felt like I was chasing him. Like, Monday he'll tell me how he felt about me. Tuesday he'll try to play me like he ain't say that on Monday. And then I found myself like kind of like not stalking him, but like, yo, what's good? Like, you said you like me. Like, why aren't we going any further? And I was not sexually active at that time, and he was. And I felt like that was the only way I was kind of going to get him. But I didn't lose my virginity at that time, like when we got together. But I felt like I had to do other things or lie and say like, oh, like when we get together, we're going to do this and we're going to do that, just to keep him like engaged. And that's bad. Like, you should never have to do that. But anyway, let's continue. So now this is like 2004, really nothing. 2005 came, a little bit more, but he was still playing so many games and talking to so many girls, and so many people was coming up to me telling me, girl, he said this about you. And then when I asked him about it, he said, oh, I didn't say that, and just a whole bunch of BS. But anyway, 2006 comes, we, I guess, finally make it official, and I thought, finally, like, I got my man, or boyfriend, or whomever, or whatever. So now we're dating, and, you know, he's doing everything right. I'm not sexually active yet, but he's calling me every day. And at that time, we had the trip, like, where you at? So, like, we had, like, the boost, whatever. And, you know, I guess he was treating me like a girlfriend. And I was so happy because this is, like, my first boyfriend. Any other guy I've ever talked to, like, I had, okay, let me go back. He was not my first boyfriend. He was my first school boyfriend. I dated another guy outside of school who lived around the corner from me, and that's like a little joke. Maybe, oh my gosh. My mother used to call him the Domino's boy, because every time we would order Domino's, he would magically show up. My mother was like, girl, he don't like you. He come at night, and he only want to come when the pizza's hot. Girl. Anyway, let's get to it. Like, she warned me about that, but then, anyway, let's continue. We're dating now. I'm back to my kid's father. We're dating now, and, you know, he's calling me. And I'm calling him, and everything is so nice. And this is like 06 vibes. You know the music that was out then. You know what I mean? Like, it was just a vibe in 06. And I don't know, like, everything was going okay. Some red flags here and there. Like, I would chirp him, he wouldn't answer it back. And then he'd answer back like 2 hours later. I'm like, where you at? And he was like, oh, like, I didn't hear my phone. Like, I didn't hear your phone. Like, stop playing with me. Like, I won't run down on you and beat you up. Anyway, Even though, like I said, like I'm playing like I was really aggressive, but I felt like I had to be like that. But I, again, soft, okay? Inside soft, outside hard. I'm touched with a little bit of ADD, so I am sorry if I'm dragging out the story, but I'm gonna try to hurry it up. I started to see like little red flags, and then we was on this site before Facebook called StoneX. So we were on StoneX, and then this girl hit me up, and then another girl hit me up, and then the school girls would like hit me up and come up to me and be like, "Oh yeah, like oh yeah, man, he want to do this to me, he want to do that to me, and I want to here, man, are you sure?" Like da da da, and I'm like, what? Yiki, my man, like. She's like, "Oh babe, I don't want them. Like I only want you. Like whatever, whatever." And again, me being dumb and young, okay. And he cheated on me so many times, and I stayed so many times. But again, I'm just thinking, like, we're in high school right now. I just gotta like play the game. When we get out of high school, when we graduate, like we're gonna be more serious. So let's just fast forward this mug, okay? This is my super senior year because I was supposed to graduate in 06, but I didn't graduate until I was supposed to graduate in 06, and I didn't graduate until January of 08 because I was a cutter, so I had a lot to make up. But I was like officially like a senior in 07, and he was a class of 07. So, like when he got to go on a senior trip, like I was able to go on a senior trip. We did all of those senior things together. We experienced the whole high school stuff together. So, I'm not gonna say, even though me and him, we ended bad. We ended horribly, and we started off not great. I could say like we did have some great times together. Like I would never lie and say, oh, like it was all bad. I mean, it was horrible, but I could pick some times when it was good. So I started to notice that I was doing stupid stuff. Like I was working at the time, and he was working in the summer, but I was working year round, and I found myself like buying him stuff. And that was because he used to tell me so many sad stories about how his adopted parents didn't do this for him, didn't do that for him. And I used to be like, oh my gosh. So I used to go out here and buy like, remember 7 jeans was popping back then. Buffalo jeans was popping back then. We used to wear ACGs, do all this stuff. So I'm buying these things for him. Like I'm buying these things, and I'm just like, I'm screaming on the inside, but on the outside, I'm like, you know what? Like, I feel bad for him. This is my man. Like, I love him, so I'm gonna do what to do. I mean, when he had a summer job, he used to like give me some money to go get my nails done, get a sew in, this and third. So I'm like, all right, like this is what couples do. No, boo. I wish my daughters would be buying a nigga some boots and some jeans. I would beat her behind. But anyway, let's continue. So we already know that he was cheating on me the whole time throughout high school, and I got pregnant in February of 2007. And I know the night that I got pregnant, it was the night of the talent show that we had at the high school. And I snuck him in my room. My mother and my father were sleeping. And I snuck him up the steps. I said, listen, when I walk, you walk. When I walk, you walk. When you walk, I walk. It cannot be like 2 creaks, because if they hear like some extra footsteps, they're coming out. My room was upstairs. Their room was on the first floor to the left. Trifling. Again, my kids would be, oh my goodness, Lord. Yeah, so now I am pregnant. And I didn't find out that I was pregnant until April. In March, I was going through hell. I was gobs of spit, this, that, and the third, and blah, 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 blah. So at this point, I am going through hell in March. I don't know what the heck is going on with me. I am throwing up. I'm getting on the bus. I cannot take the bus. I cannot take the cab. I cannot take my parents' car. I don't know. But eventually, my parents started to see that this was an issue, and my father said something. Like, Darlene, I think Jessica may be pregnant. Sorry, I had to do my father's voice like that because he's island, So my mother's like, what? Because like my mom is country. She's from New Orleans, but she's like hood rat New Orleans. You feel me? But let's continue. So my mother wanted to pull up on my kid's father. He wasn't, well, I call him my kid's father, but he wasn't my kid's father back then. Well, he was my baby daddy, but you know what I mean? So anyway, let's get into it. She pulled up on him. She banged on that gate. His mother comes to the gate like, hi, how can I help you? My mother was like, oh, we need to come inside. So my mother was like, oh, your son got my daughter pregnant. And they was like, oh, we don't think that. Oh, our son is supposed to go to he was supposed to go to Penn State College and whatever. This family they liked me, but they didn't really like me. Like, they didn't think I was good enough for him because he was smart. And, they had dreams of him going to college away. And he could have went. Like, he didn't go because he didn't go. But anyway, whatever. And they were just like, oh, well, if this is true, if she's pregnant, we're a Christian family. We're going to do what we have to do, yada, yada, yada. I'm letting y'all know that they didn't do nothing. I have 4 kids with this man, and they didn't do nothing. But let's continue. So, we left there. One day I threw up at a clinical because I was in building and coding in high school. I threw up. They sent me to the ER. I found out I was pregnant. My mother almost fell down the hill. My mother called them, cursed them out. He called me, was like, what you going to do about that? I said, excuse me, sir? You mean what we going to do? And I was really hurt, what do you mean what we gonna do? Like, first of all, I'm pregnant. I've never been pregnant. Like, I need to just soak this in real quick. And the first thing you say is, what you gonna do? And mind you, we're still in high school, and I still have to see him every day. And he was playing games. He was still talking to other girls. Still sleeping with me from time to time, telling me that we were going to work on our relationship and we were going to be a family and this, that, and the third, and trying to convince me that, oh, like, maybe you should get the abortion. And I did not believe in abortion, so I was not going to abort my child. And I am sorry that my kids may have to hear that. But I love you. Mama loves you. God loves you. So anyway, yeah, damn, that just kind of hit me. So now to fast forward, now it is like June. Like I said, I was not graduating when he was graduating because I cut so much classes, but I was a senior. So I was able to go to like the senior trip and the prom and things like that. So I went to the prom. We did not go together. We were supposed to go together, but then we didn't. We ended up hooking up prom night anyway and hanging out all night. And then I went to his house to sleep over, and then his parents let me stay like an extra day or whatever like that. And then I thought that was great. I felt like we were going to start working on our relationship. He graduated. I'm growing. I'm getting bigger. He never went with me to any doctor's appointments. His family was supposed to come when we were supposed to find out the sex of the baby. They arrived too late. I already left. But yeah, whatever. Now this is like summer of 2006. And again, the music was a vibe. But I was really depressed that summer because I was pregnant. And it was a lot of family issues going on that I would not disclose right now. And I did not know how to handle that and the fact that, like, he wasn't there for me, like, at all. At all. I was really lonely at that time. So, yeah. I kind of been holding this stuff in for so long because, like, I'm not going to cry or nothing like that, but I definitely feel like a heaviness, you know what I mean? So now it's getting close to the due date. It's getting close to the due date. You know, we have everything we need for the baby, and eventually I have my baby boy. And he was so excited. When I was in labor, I almost died, honestly. My heart rate dropped. Sean's heart rate dropped. They had to rush in, throw me down, break the water, and put something on Sean's head. Because, yeah, like, something happened and we were both are gonna die. Like, it was crazy. And my mom was so sad and upset. Like, she cursed that family out, okay? Like, I still remember verbatimly what she said, but we're not gonna get into it right now. So anyway, let's continue. He came to the hospital after all of that, and after, you know, I had to been about 5 or 6 centimeters, and he stayed, and I had my son. After giving birth, I developed Bell palsy. Anybody that doesn't know what Bell palsy is, I'm about to tell you. Bell palsy is when you deliver your baby and you're like pushing so hard, and I must have did something. I struck a nerve. I don't know what I did. So I'm not even telling y'all the real information. Listen, I got Bell palsy. My whole face was slanted, and it happened when I left the hospital. So for a month, I was walking around like this. Like, when I would drink, it would come out the side. It was wild. And then I went to a specialist, and they said, it's nothing you can do. You have to just deal with this until your muscles relax. And whatever. Eventually I did, like 6 weeks later. But I'm going through that. I'm going through being a first-time mom. And this YN was nowhere to be found. He was working at Dwayne Reed, and nowhere to be found. I used to have to call him, like, listen, I need milk, I need this. Oh, you need to sign up for what? You need to sign up for food stamps. You need to sign up for this. My mother said you can do this. Your mother said you can do this, and and you didn't do nothing. I said, I don't qualify. I didn't qualify back then. For me to qualify for WIC and food stamps, I had to quit my job, because I was also working out at Dwayne Reed. I had to quit my job because I was making, $402 bi-weekly, and I didn't have any bills. All I had was a cell phone bill, and they felt like that was enough. So I didn't qualify for food stamps and WIC until I cut down hours or I quit. I don't really remember, but I feel like I'm talking too much. I'm sorry, guys. Anyway, I'm going through all of these things. And then there will be times that me and him would actually rekindle. We'll be doing the family thing. He'll be around for weeks and weeks at a time, and then boom. Then he got into this like a real relationship with this girl named Monessa, and I don't care if girl, I said your name. And I was hurt by that because I felt like how he was treating her, I wanted him to treat me that way. And he brought her a coat, and he brought her a phone, and he did this and he did that for her. And I'm like, damn, nigga, like, your son need a coat. He had plenty of coats. But the point is, like, you didn't buy nothing for your son, and you out here tricking on girls or your girlfriend or whomever. It's crazy, it's wild, whatever. But still sleeping with me when you come over and see your son. Okay. So then at this point, like, I start talking to dudes here and there, but it's something about the baby daddy vibe. Like, it's like when he comes, it's like, oh, they don't even, like, I push them back to the side. Like, all right, he's in the picture now, and I know he's probably doing what he's doing, but, like, we're good right now. So then I got pregnant again with my second child. And at this point, I'm in a shelter in the Bronx in like an apartment, like in a 1-bedroom apartment or whatever. And when I had my second child, he was around a lot. And I thought that, you know, we were going to like make the family work. Wrong. While I thought that we were making our family work, he was out here screwing the girl that he went to church with named Jolisa. Yeah, I said your name. No shade, girl, but this is a real life story. And he cheated on, I can't even say he cheated on me. Like, we were together, not together. Anyway, he had sex with that girl and got her pregnant. So me and this girl was walking around pregnant at the same time. And how I found out that she was pregnant was I was leaving his house and getting in a cab, and I guess she must have seen a post, you know, me and him posted up together. So she decides to call my phone, and she says, oh, I just want to let you know that I am pregnant with Lathan's baby. And I'm like, I don't believe you. So she sent me the sonogram, she sent me a picture, she sent me text messages between them two, and I lost my marbles. Like, that night, I put my son in a stroller, and I walked from Prospect. I was on Prospect and, like, Tremont. If you know, you know. I walked from there all the way to Freeman Street, ready to square up in a sundress and chancletas. Like, what's goody? Come outside. Yeah, right now. All right, so boom. I am standing outside in front of his mama's house at 12 a.m. at night with my baby in a stroller, ratchet as hell. We should have been in the house sleeping, but homegirl called me and told me that she was pregnant. So I'm about 7 months pregnant. Jolisa was about 5 months pregnant. Nigga, you knew that me and her was both pregnant. Okay. Let me tell you something. The family be knowing the tea, and then they don't tell you nothing. They don't even give you a hint. You be going in their house, and they be like, oh, hi, baby. How's my grandbaby? How's my new grandbaby? Knowing that he got another girl pregnant at the church. You knew that. But anyway, let's continue. So he tried to deny it and say, baby, I love you. I would never do that to you. I told you I'm changing. Like, I'm not even in the streets like that no more. Lies. I love you. I love my son. Like, I can't wait to meet my baby girl. Like, no, she's lying. She's lying. So I'm like, call her. No, I don't feel like talking. Nigga, call her right now before I beat you up. He called her. And she was like, what? Oh, don't play. I don't know. I don't really remember the full conversation. But she was basically like, no, I said it because it's true. Like, nigga, stop playing with me. So I cried and I could not believe it. When I, like, you ever, I was heartbroken. I'm smiling out of nervousness when I'm telling the story. I'm not smiling because I think it's funny. Actually, I do kind of think it's funny. I wish I could have slapped myself. Like, girl, you stupid? Bah. Anyway, but I was really hurt. Like, my chest was hurting. Like, it wasn't even exact. It was just something. Like, I just was like, it's like shocked, but like, girl, you already know who you messing with. Like, you already know, like, he treat you filthy. Like, why are you so upset? Like, it was like the like two people on my shoulder. Like, one, this person was like, girl, like, you already know what he do. And then the other one's like, oh, but you know, he said he love you. He said he gonna stop. You know, it's hard for him. You know, he was adopted and he was a crack baby and he was this and he was that and he went through so much. So you feel like you gotta. And that's another thing that I wish, like, my father would have talked to me about. How dudes like to play that thing. Like, you know, I'm not saying he didn't go through a lot in his childhood, because he absolutely did. But a lot of men, a lot of people in general, not even men, even females, they like to use what happened to them when they were younger as the reason why they act how they act in their adult life or early adult life. Like, they can, but they're not even trying to fix it. So they're just like, oh, I act like this because of this. Like, that may be true. So don't be with no one. Tell me you can't be with no one. No, you want your cake and eat it too. But at the same time, I knew better, so I should have did better. But let's continue. I hope I make sense, because I be rambling. So I went home that night, and then whatever, months go by. He was giving me a whole bunch of yeast infections and everything else and some other stuff, but we won't get into that. Just know he dirty and blah, 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 blah. So, like, he dirty for that, but is he dirty? He dirty. All right, anyway. I can't, it's like, it's nothing else you can say. You dirty, you not. Like, you clean or you dirty. Like, bop, bop. I ended up having our daughter on his birthday, and when I had her, like, before I had her, he did not want to come to the hospital. He was just saying I was joking. He said, oh, you be dragging it. You're not in labor. I said, Lathan, I am in labor. Okay? And what I was doing 2 weeks before, I planned to have my daughter on his birthday. How I did that? I walked from 161st Street. You know that little bootleg or you can eat buffet by like the movie theater, or by like the little dirty shopping center in the Bronx. I'm sorry, but I'm from the Bronx. I can talk about the Bronx all I went to. Like, yeah, I walked from there all the way to Tremont. Then I would walk from Tremont all the way to Bronx River. Then I would just be walking. And then, like, I don't know, like, my doctor was telling me that I need to be on bed rest. And I did. But I was still walking. And my water broke on that day, September 26th. So I called him to tell him that I'm going to the hospital, and he thought it was cap. And then when his parents came to the hospital and they checked my centimeters, the lady was like, oh no, she's having this baby tonight. Well, another nurse came in and was like, oh, she's only like 4 centimeters. And it was early. It was like maybe like 2 or 3 o'clock. Oh, she's not going to have this baby till tomorrow, so you can go out and come back. So he was like, oh, I'm going to stay with you till like 9 o'clock, and then I'm about to head out, and then I'm going to come back. I said, yeah, okay. So while he was about to go out, it's 9 o'clock now, and he's like, oh, I'm about to head out. And I'm like, oh, wait, the contractions are getting stronger. And he's like, oh, you trying to do this on purpose? First of all, nigga, why would you try to go out anyway if I'm having your baby? Like, shouldn't you be here? Because anything can happen to me. Again, like, me not thinking, Jessica, he really don't care about you. Like, he don't care. And my wig is slipping. All right. So when the doctor came in, the nurse came in and checked me, I was, in fact, 9 centimeters. So the lady was like, oh my God, like, you went from, I'm like, I told y'all, and I felt like I had to poop. I'm like, hello. So then they started like prepping, getting things ready. So he's like, so, like, what's going on? So I turned to him and I said, nigga, your daughter's about to be born on your birthday, like I told you, and you got to take Sean with you home. Goodbye. So I ends up giving birth to my oldest daughter, Queen, at 11:57 on my baby's father's birthday. You know how like special that is to have like your kid on your birthday? Like, it's mad special, by the way. But anyway, let's continue. So for the next few months, like, he was coming over, we'll be together, we break up, we come over, we break up, he come over, we together, we break up, we sleep together, we argue. The girl had the baby. He didn't even go to the hospital to see that baby born. Trifling. And I stayed stupid. So a lot of things transpired in the Bronx. Like, after I had my 2 kids and I had to up and leave and move to Long Island. I'm not going to get into those details. I don't think ever. It's just too much. That's like another series of something else, and I just don't want to get into it. It's just too much. And yeah. So I moved to Long Island. I'm not really going to get into that too, because that was a lot of BS too. I moved to Long Island, and then eventually I left my aunt's house and went to a shelter. And then my kid's father decided to come with me. And he came from the Bronx to Long Island with me, and we was in Long Island. And, you know, a lot of things have transpired in Long Island. A lot of bad, a lot of bad, a lot of bad. And then he met a young lady out here. And he gave me an STD. And it wasn't because of the lady, if you know what I mean. Well, by now, you guys already know that my baby father is a liar, a cheater, and everything else. And I was 7 months pregnant when I found out about the other girl being 5 months pregnant, yada, yada, yada. When we left the Bronx to move to Long Island, I had 2 kids by him, and he had another child. So he had 3 kids, I had 2. The reason why I moved to Long Island was because I wanted a fresh start, but also a fresh start for me and him. I felt like I could move him away from the block, the girls, and that it would stop. I'm telling you right now, whoever is thinking to do that, don't do it, because they're just gonna find another girl somewhere else. Okay? All right. This story is about to get a little bit dark, but I'm going to be very honest with you guys. The abuse started to get even worse. Before we moved to Long Island, it was just verbal abuse. Like, oh, you're nothing, you're fat, you're ugly, you're this, you're that, and the third. And then, oh, I'm sorry, I just said that because I was upset, and you know how I get. And again, how I felt about myself, I allowed him to talk to me and treat me that way. And I kind of believed him. So it was like, oh, like, whatever. He'll say, like, who else gonna be with you? Like, you already got 2 kids by me. Like, nobody want to deal with that. You're not easy to deal with. So it's like, and I believe that. I'm letting you know, like, if someone is looking at this video and they're going through the same thing, I'm letting you know right now, get out while you can. There is so much help out here. I will help you. Leave. They're not going to change. They may stop doing what they're doing for a little bit, but they will go right back into it. And at this time, it went from verbal to him actually doing little shoves here and there. It went from a shove, then a slap, then a punch, then a choke out as he started to progress in his boxing career. He got some, he tried, but he didn't make it. And I felt like he could have if he would have been focused, but we'll get into why he wasn't focused later on. But anyway, yeah, he wasn't focused, but he definitely could fight a little bit. And as sometimes he definitely choked me out to where I passed out. He punched me, slapped, everything you could think of, to the point like I couldn't go anywhere. Or I could be on the phone with like my best friend. My best friend could even tell you, like, but she's not. But if it ever came down to it, whatever, I guess she would. I'll be on the phone with her and he'll be all in a conversation. Like, I couldn't even talk to people. Like, he had to be in every conversation. Wherever I go, he go. But wherever he go, I didn't have to go. He didn't want me on him like that. But he had to be wherever I went. And if he wasn't with me, it was like, where you at? What time you coming back? Like, you took too long. What you doing? Unless he was occupied with something else. You know what I mean? Like another girl or whatever like that. And my parents were holding on the kids. He didn't care. So by this time, we were in the house. I went to the shelter with him to get on Section 8. I don't know if I mentioned that. So by this time, we were in the new house. I went to the shelter. I was able to get my voucher. I had me a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, nice house, brand new, in CI, and everything started okay. It was so crazy. When we moved into that house, I just found out I was pregnant again. But the crazy thing is, the same time I found out I was pregnant, that was the same time. Like, I found out I was pregnant like on a Wednesday. I went to the ER because of a toothache. And when they was going to give me oxycodone for the pain, they did a pregnancy test. So when they test the pregnancy strip, they was like, oh, we can't give you oxy because you're pregnant. We want to give you ibuprofen or Tylenol. And I'm like, who's pregnant? Sorry, that was my husband. So let's get back to it. Sorry, that was my husband. All right, so we back. So, I found out I was pregnant and I got prenatal care. Everything was good. And then I got a call from the doctor. So he asked me if I had time to speak, and I said, of course. And he was like, oh, I just want to go over your lab results. And he sounded so like sad over the phone. Like, so, like, you could just tell he didn't want to tell me what he had to tell me. So I'm like, doc, just get to it. Like, what? I'm pre-diabetic or something? And he was like, no, those numbers are great. So I'm like, okay, so what's the problem? He's like, oh, you have an STD. And I said, what? I'm like, are you sure? Like, I'm not itching. I'm not burning. Nothing is going on with me. He was like, no, 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 no. No. Like, definitely. We checked. We double checked. You could come in and we can, draw your blood and we can test you for it again. But, like, no, this is accurate. So I said, oh my God. Honestly, to this day, I've realized that I shouldn't have told my mother certain things because my mom, regardless of how me and her, how our relationship is, she gonna ride for me. Like, she's a rider. So, like, it got crazy, but we're not gonna talk about that. But anyway, so I found out, and then he was laying in the bed. So I definitely barged in the room, was like, oh, you know what I just found out? He was like, oh, what? Like, what? The sex? The sex of the baby? I'm like, no, stupid. I didn't even do a sonogram. I have an STD. So he's like, who you was with? I said, nigga, it was you. Tell me why he got up and got in the shower like he gonna wash the STD away. I know the filter moved because it's a long day and I was not gonna show my face on here, but like, let's be for real. As I'm telling the story, like, I feel my stomach is hurting and my chest is hurting. Like, it's because I really don't talk about all of these things because I cannot believe I really went through these things. Somebody may listen to this and be like, girl, I went through worse. I'm sure you have, but this is worse for me. Like, I mean, it gets worse, sir, but I was really in the trenches. Girl, boy, let's continue. So I don't know if y'all remember that summer where it was like that earthquake. It was like 2011 summertime. That's the summer I was pregnant and I had to go to the doctor and get like a certain shot. I forgot the name. It's been a long day. It's a shot that you get when you have an STD, but when you're pregnant, it's a certain one that they give you. But I had to get that one. And then he had to go and get one as well at his doctor's office, which he didn't have one, which I had to find one for him. Stupid ass. Anyway, let's continue. Just getting aggravated oh gosh. So for weeks, he slept on that couch. He was not allowed to come in my room. Like, all his stuff was in a bin in the living room. I don't care. The kids were like, mommy, why daddy sleeping out there? Because he is. Share the TV. But that's one thing I would say about him though, like, regardless of what's going on, like, he was like a fun dad, like, putting the kids in the pool and taking them to the park and taking them outside and doing this, that, and the third. So he was alright. And I know he was going extra hard because he was trying to get back in my good graces. Good graces. Yeah, that's the word. And again, as months went by, I was just like, you know what? Oh, he's trying. People make mistakes. And let's just try to make our family work. So he moved back into the bedroom. Dumbass. Let me tell you, when the health department came, a lady was like, the type of STD you have, And me and my mother like, She's like, this is a STD that's not usually, like, women don't get this one. This is kind of in a different community. So I'm like, what do you mean? If you know, you know. So I said, no. Like, no, that's not possible. He's like, all right, well, just watch out. So we just gonna hold that right here. This is part 4, remember? The lady from the health department told me that this STD is in this type of community. So it's right here, okay? All right, remember. So I went home and told him that. He was like, oh, well, you ain't got to worry about me. You know I am. Please, stop playing with me. I said, all right. So now, one day I'm on the phone with my best friend, who I love and adore to this day. Like, when I say my best friend, like, it don't even make no sense. We're on the phone and I'm like looking on my computer and then I start going on Craigslist and I see like some ads and I see some things, people searching up, and I said, interesting. Now, put that together with what somebody told me earlier. Something not adding up, but okay, let's look further and let's see what this is. So I see him trying to meet up with people and on the Craigslist on the back page and things of that sort. All right, so recap. My baby father, cheater, liar, pathological liar. Had 2 kids on me. Y'all already know about 1. I am on baby number 3, STD. and not in the community. All right. For the new people who are watching this video, and for the people that know me, and for the people who are getting to know me, I am animated, guys. Why's my check again? Anyway, I'm animated. I'm sorry. That's just how I am made, and I love me for me. So if you don't like me, keep scrolling. If you want to follow, subscribe, share, baby. Give me some coin. All right. So I told that man, is there something you got to tell me? I said, I love you. And there's a lot of things in this relationship that I have tolerated, but there is one thing that I am not tolerating. And I know that that may be like I'm a hypocrite, because at that time and after that time and before I was saved, I have been with women. So a lot. You know what I mean? So it's like, who can I to tell someone that they cannot, you can do what you want to do. You just can't do it with me. You feel me? Because that's a whole nother worms. And I'm not even going to go down that rabbit hole, because like, I can't please you. I'm not putting on a anyway, let's just move on. I'm just not. So, that's crazy. Wow. They got that test wrong, though. Or maybe it was like some girl was talking to a CT, because he was in Connecticut for a little bit. And he was like, oh, maybe it was some girl out there, like, and she had that. So I'm like, all right, remember, whatever you do in the dark will come to light. Like, I'm not going to keep arguing with you. I said what I said. So I said, are you done? You done with the streets? You see what the streets do? Oh, yeah, I'm done. He crying, Carl Thomas, grabbing the air and all that. I'm done. I said, all right, you still on the couch right now. But eventually he moved back into the room. But I'm saying, like, he was on, listen, some seasons went by. All right. So then when I had my son, he was working. I was home. I was on leave. And I don't know, like, he was going to work and coming home. And I thought, oh, he changed. No, boo. It was winter time. Once tax season dropped and new phones was brought in, new clothes and a little money in the pocket mixed with the paycheck, and the time changed and it's warm, back to the same old. Oh, I'll be back. Don't come back. And I said, okay. Oh, okay. We had this sprinkler system that would come on automatically in the morning at 6:15 in the morning. If he didn't come home by that time, I threw his stuff on the lawn. I know the neighbors was like, this girl is insane. She had to worry about her kids. And listen, mind your business, okay? I will say, though, that if I can go back to that day, I wouldn't have threw his stuff out. I would have just told him, I'm not Kalani, I'm not folding. You can come and get your stuff and you can leave. Like, if I can go back, but we can't. So I threw it outside. Anyway, so eventually he got tired of that game. But right before he left, I was doing some spring cleaning, and I had a flat screen TV in my living room, but in my room I had the big flat, but it was still like with the big back. So I had it on a dresser. I had two dresses, but one of the dresses I turned it around so that way if the kids are watching TV in the room, they don't pull on it. You know, when they're young, they like to like pull on the drawers. So I turned it facing the wall. So when I was doing some spring cleaning, I moved it, and long and behold, when the drawer, kind of fell out as I was moving it, a whole big box of Maggie's, big box, fall out. So I kid you not, he was in the kitchen. The kids were outside playing. He was in the kitchen eating. I went to the kitchen, put the box like on my side. He tried to grab me and I like kind of moved, and I went to the kitchen, got the big Dawn, not even the Dawn that was on the dress, like on the sink. Like, I went underneath the sink and got the big one, the one from BJ's. I took that mug off the top. Why'd I feel to moving? I'm still cute. I took the top off that mug and I threw it all on his food. I was wrong. All right, so I did, and he was like, "Yo, what the, you know." So I pull out the Maggies and I say, "What is this?" And I kid you not, he says to me a line from the movie Baby Boy. "That's a pack of condoms. What you doing with that?" So me arguing back and forth. We arguing back and forth. And I'm toe to toe, like, he trying to get in my face. I said, "Yo, I told you before. Listen, I'm not taking your stuff." And I'm three kids in by this time. So, we've been together for some time now, and I'm getting used to it. So now I'm like, yo, I'm gonna fight you back. So I'm like, yo, you got to kill me in this mug. So yeah. So I'm like, oh, you went all out. All I get is a trip to the clinic, literally months ago. And he's like, oh, I'm not even doing nothing. I said, why do you have a box of condoms? He was like, that probably was in there from when we had them or whatever like that. Because there was a time when I was still pregnant and we did use them because I didn't trust him. And I'm like, nah, we went through that. You know what I mean? Like, let's just be for real. Like, that's a new pack. The expiration date look fresh. Boy, the box look fresh. Stop playing with me. So I told him, like, get out. That's it. We don't gotta make this a whole big thing. Just get your stuff and get out. So he got out. Yeah, with some other stuff. He talking about he want to take this and he want to take this. And I'm like, nigga, you didn't buy nothing in my house. Okay? Nothing. you can go about your business. You're not taking anything. So he left, and he was a couple of blocks away, at one of his boys' houses, and he was just there chilling out. And then I guess he just stayed there because he would come sometimes, and I would allow him to come and see the kids, and he could take the kids in the backyard and play or go in the pool, or they can go to the store and get ice cream and snacks and pizza, whatever like that, do their thing. And that's it. But no, he was not allowed in my house, in my bed, nothing. Duh, duh, duh. And your girl was outside. 2012? Okay. 2012 summer, I was outside. People were paying for my dinner or a little trip here and there. And I didn't have to like bust it open. So you see it? Real men. We just having a nice conversation, dinner. I didn't have to do nothing unless I wanted to, but it was nice. But the relationships, or like the guys I was talking to, it could never go any further because I really wanted to be with my kid's father. Because remember, like I told y'all in part 1 or 2, like I just always was like family orientated. So is that the word? I got dyslexia, so sometimes I mix up my words. But anyway, like I just wanted to be with my kid's father and be with my kids, and that's it. So like whatever. So he came into some money. And this may be ratchet to me, but it was, maybe it was some change, you know what I mean? So he wanted to come home, and he wanted to make his family work. He was like, I just want to take care of you, and this, that, and the third, and blah, 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 blah. And I said, okay. But before he came home, I'm not going to front to you guys. We were still sleeping together here and there. And lo and behold, before he came home, like a week before he came home, we went to the store, me and him. I was getting like pull-ups and stuff like that. And I seen these pregnancy tests for $1. And I said, oh, this is so funny. This is so funny. Like who buys a dollar pregnancy test? And he's like, yo, like, stop wasting money, put that down, let's go. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because we wasn't driving at that time, we was catching the bus. So anyway, I brought 2, and lo and behold, I went home, peed on a stick, positive. I said, no way. Peed on a stick again, positive. He ran out, went to CPS this time, and got like $50 worth of pregnancy tests, positive. And my mother in the back, oh, well, you pregnant again? Oh, we having the baby at Stony Brook because I like the bagels there. I'm like, girl, what? Forget a bagel. A baby? Golly. The other baby not even 1 yet. But anyway, he came back home, and he was doing good for a while. Bills was paid up. I still had to remind him, like, listen, like, the kids cannot just be eating junk, buy this, that. Sorry, I'm dragging out the story. Just he was doing what he had to do. And for once, I was like, oh, like, yeah, I'm pregnant again, but, he's home. He's doing good. He's working, coming home. Yeah, he liked to hang out in the laundry room because we had an outside laundry room / den. It was nice, a nice setup. And his boys would come over and hang out. And I didn't mind that because I'm like, at least I know I could look out my window and I could see my man. So I'm like, all right, everything's good. We could barbecue, people come over, everything's a vibe. Like everything is working out. Everything is working out. That I thought. So at this time, you already know that I am pregnant with my 4th baby. Cheating and everything's on hold right now. I think right now he's just in honeymoon stage. He's just trying to kind of make this family situation work. The money was good, but then the money ran out. And then when we had to recertify, they seen that we had all that money, and then they cut us off the program. And then, we were struggling to make rent. And then we had to leave the house and go to the shelter again. And then when we went to the shelter, we went back to the same shelter we were in the first time before we got the first house. And then we got another house in like 3 months. And then I was taking a CNA course that One Stop paid for free, by the way. Y'all should go do that. Whoever's looking for CNA work, do that. Anyway, One Stop workforce, whatever, paid for that. So by the time I moved into the new house, I was finishing my CNA program and I wanted to work. So I started working. And his behind was not working. The kids had daycare, so I was able to put the kids in daycare, and I was working like 5/8. So Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. The kids had daycare from like 8 to 6, but I didn't like them being in daycare early. So like, like a long. So I used to tell him, listen, drop me first and then drop the kids off. And that's what he did. And that's what we did. So boom. He had all day while we were going to do what he wanted to. He had the car and he had the crib and whatever else, and then he would pick me up. But then he started talking to this girl, and I know this girl very well. I haven't talked to her in a while, but as you hear the story, you find out that me and this girl became very close in a weird way. Very weird. Yeah. So now I started to notice that he was hanging out a lot. And when he would come home, he would be like real tired or like real moody. I don't know, like, but he was hanging out like almost every night or every other night. It was crazy. One time I thought about, it was like weird stuff I would think about doing. Like one night I said, you know what, no, the kids were sleeping. I said, you know what, I'm going to get in the car and go to the back row. Cause we had a 3-row. We had a truck, a 3-row. I said, I would get in the back of the truck before he heads out. I would prop the pillows up like I'm asleep and just get in the trunk and see where he goes. And then when he gets there and he gets comfortable, I will pop out and be like, Papa, guess who? I mean, that song wasn't out then, but like, yeah, ding dong. But it never happened. I was like, girl, you're so stupid. Why would you do that and leave your kids unattended? Like, stop. So, the same thing I used to do at the other house, I definitely did at this one. Oh, you don't come home at a certain time, I'm throwing your stuff out on the lawn. And again, it's in the past, but if I could, I wouldn't do that. Like, you would just have to go wherever you at. Obviously, you care about where you're at more than being home, so you can go there respectfully. But at this time, his behavior started to change, more aggressive. This is when like the abuse really took its turn for the worse. Like, there was a lot of times like I was walking on eggshells with this man. Like, if I said something, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I said something, like, he'll be real quick to like, what? Like, get in my face. And it was just more aggressive than like usual. Like, any aggression is bad, but I mean like real bad. To the point like he would choke me out and I would pass out. Or if I didn't pass out, it was like I'm about to. Like, it was times like that. And like, I know I'm saying this like nothing now, but I couldn't talk about this before because, you know, regardless of my oldest son and daughter, like, even if they weren't in the room, they heard. And even if my oldest daughter didn't see, I know my oldest son did see a few times where he did put his hands on me. So it's here. You know what I mean? So my kids definitely all had to go to counseling for the situation. So anyway, let's move on. All right, and this girl, she started calling the house. Now she getting real comfortable. Now she getting sloppy now, and so is he. So she's calling, and then when I would pick up my house phone, you know, the one I pay, she would hang up. And then I started calling back, like, yo. And she was like, oh, my bad, it's the wrong number. One time was the wrong number. Then the second time, it was something else. And then the third time, it was, she said her name, and she was like, oh, I'm from here. I was looking to buy whatever, whatever. Like, he was selling price on bud and whatever, which is marijuana. So, I didn't buy it, but I said, okay, I don't have enough proof. And I was the type of person, like, when I came, like, I'm not a person that's going to come at you with no type of facts. Even if I don't have all the facts, I'm going to have some. I like to have something to, like, you know, go back and forth with. You know what I mean? Like, so I didn't say anything. So I got the call log from T-Mobile and from Optimum. And I went on my little tablet and I was able to see, like, he was jonesing with this number, like 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, an hour and a half, 30 minutes here, 10 minutes here. And right before, like, he was leaving, calling her. When he arrived somewhere, he called her. Even when I was like, when I'm looking at it, like, it's like he was just on the phone with her. Like, I guess, like, oh, I'm here or whatever, like that, to let him in or whatever, whatever. I don't know, whatever. So I said, okay. And when he came home, I showed him, and then we had a fight again. Choked me out again. My son called the police. They arrested him. I let him back. Arrested him, let him back. CPS was called, had a case. I was not supposed to be around that man, and I still allowed him to be around my kids. And let me just say this, if I don't say this ever, if you have an order of protection and you try to drop it and the case is severe, or if you don't think it's severe, the court is going to pick it up. And now at this point, they just picking it up. So even if it's like one little incident, the court is going to pick it up and see it through and through. You got to do domestic violence, this and that and the third. But the weird thing is, this was the year of 2013, and they didn't do that for him. I had to do parenting. Like, it was me. Like, not parenting. I didn't have to do that yet, but I had to, like, seek counseling and do this and do that. And they didn't make him do anything. All they wanted him to do was stay away. But then, you know, we would try to make it work and he would come back home. But the thing is, now this order of protection is in place by the court, and he is not allowed to be around me and the kids. And, you know, it was stipulations, like, he cannot be around the kids, and I was violating the order like him. But at the end of the day, I knew about the order. Like, I should have done better. So, ladies, men, whomever, if you were ever to get in this type of situation, don't think that you guys can be around each other with an order of protection, especially when kids is involved, because as the story goes on, as it plays out, you'll hear what happens exactly when you try to play, you know, with the courts or whatever, like that. Like, with that, like, try to be sneaky, trying to see each other, knowing you got order protection, and the court picked it up. So at this point, he's doing what he's doing. We're fighting all the time. We got this order now, and now I can't even call the police because then I'm gonna get in trouble. So it's like, I basically gotta take, I deserve this, right? Because I'm the one that's allowing him to come back in the house, so I gotta take it. That's what I thought back then. So I'm just taking it, and I'm like, oh my God, like, I just don't understand, like, why this man keep treating me like this? Like, why can't he just get it together? Like, he has 4 beautiful children. Like, we had like this beautiful chemistry when we're good, I'm saying to myself. And then he'll say it to me too. And in times we'll have good vibes, like, we'll have good times. And I just couldn't understand, like, why we couldn't work. But whatever. Then a few months later, I had to research. Again, made too much money. They cut me off the voucher, but we was able to obtain the rent for a while until, you know, he kept doing his stuff, and I said, I'm done. So I went to my mother's house and stayed over there with the kids. And then eventually he came. My mother and my father didn't want him to come, but, you know, they loved me, so they just dealt with him for a little bit. And at the same time as us going to my mother's house, maybe like 2 weeks later, I was in his phone doing something, and these messages kept popping up, popping up, popping up, popping up. And it was this guy that we knew in the shelter that we were in, that he was wild cool, but he knew the girl. I think they were cousins or something like that. I don't know, like a family friend. And he was texting like his father saying, "Oh, you got to take her. She want to do that situation today. Like it's either today or no day or something like that. I don't know." So then that message though was from like a week ago. So I guess Lathan missed it. His name was Lathan. Okay, I'm not gonna keep saying kid's father. Lathan. So Lathan kept missing the text messages, and eventually he caught up to them. So then he went outside. He was like chiefing like 2 cigarettes. So I'm like, oh, conversation crazy. And then I put it together like she got to go somewhere. So in my head, I'm like, is somebody trying to go to the abortion clinic? And then I look at Facebook and I find out that he got another girl pregnant. And she's so now I found out that she was pregnant from Facebook because I was snooping. And that's one thing I would never, ever, to this very day, I could count on my hands how many times I went through my husband's phone. And I went through his phone when we first started dating because I couldn't believe that he was so, I'm not going to use the word perfect because God is perfect. Everything that he said he was. And I just couldn't believe that he could be so honest about who he was. That makes sense? All right, let's continue. So I asked him, yo, what's good with this? Like, you got somebody else pregnant? And I'm saying to him, did you not learn from the first time? Like, I've forgiven you for so much stuff. You want to go out here and get someone pregnant again? So that means you out here having unprotected sex again, meaning you could give me something again. And he cried and he cried. Oh, I promise you, like, this girl is lying. Like, I don't know. Like, yeah, I cheated on you and I'm sorry, but I did not get this girl pregnant. I said, well, I can't believe you. And I didn't believe him. But I said, listen, whatever you do in the dark will come to light. So if Shorty is pregnant, I'm going to find out. I should have kicked him out my mother's house that day. And I know my mother would have been on board because she didn't want him there anyway. But weeks went by and I still had that CPS in place, order protection and CPS in place. And he was not supposed to be around me and the kids. But like I told you guys in the previous videos, I allowed him to be around, knowing the order protection was still in place, thinking I could be slick, but you're gonna find out that slick ends up getting you into more trouble. So a few weeks and months went by, and I didn't hear anything, and I had to go into a shelter because, you know, like I'm living with my parents, and they don't really like my kid's father, and then we have our issues, and I just wanted to give my parents their space. So I went into the shelter, not even thinking that I had this case because I haven't heard from the CPS worker since I moved from my house to my parents' house. Only seen her one time. And I'm not even putting it together because I'm so involved in so much other mess that I'm not even thinking, Jessica, do not go to the shelter with this man. Let him go where he go and you go with your kids. So anyway, we all get placed. We get placed into the shelter and everything is okay until the CPS worker calls me and she asks me, where do you live now? And it was a new worker. And I was like, oh, I live such and such and such. So she said, okay, I'm going to have to come over there and see you. So I'm thinking, oh, she'll come over to where I'm at and see me and then he won't be there. This lady looked me up and found out that I was placed in a shelter. And she called me back and was like, are you in a shelter? And I'm like, yeah. She was like, okay, is your kid's father with you? Because you know you have order protection. And I see that he is on like I don't know what she called it, but it was a roster. And she was able to see like it was me, him, and the kids. So I denied it. I was like, no, that must be a mistake. And at that time, I knew that I effed up. So my oldest two went to school. My youngest two, I kept with me. I was going to take them to tutor time, but I said, you know what, I'm going to keep them. And my mom, she said she already was saying it in her head when I called her and told her. She was like, Jessica, they might try to take your kids today. So I was trying to go to the school and get my oldest two kids. But by the time I got to the school, by the time I like waited for my parents to come and then got in the car and whatever, everywhere else. And I think I had to go somewhere and handle something. I think I was trying to get a car. And that didn't work out. And then my mom just kept saying, oh, we should really go get the kids. We should really go get the kids. I should have got the kids earlier, but I did not. So when I went to finally go get them, I was like, you know what? The bus already came and got them. So I might as well be out there by the time they get there. So when I got there, their bus, it was like when I pulled in, their bus was leaving. No. When I got there, their bus was there. But somebody told them to hold those kids on the bus, don't let them. So I did something. I went inside, signed in that I was there, went in the room, and when I came out, my kids were in the lobby. I don't know, like when I'm telling you guys the story, like my heart is racing faster because I really, like, I forgave myself for this, and I'll tell you why as the stories go along. But I really have forgiven myself for this because I must have been a real piece of you know what to really sit there and love a man more than myself to allow my kids to be taken. So for all the women that are going through battles, silent battles with their husbands and their boyfriends, nothing is more important than your children. Them guys can go. You protect your babies, okay? All right. So anyway, I'm gonna say Karen. I could say other things, but I'm being, Karen. She had my kids. So she's like, oh, where's the other 2 kids? So I'm like, run me my kids. So I grabbed my kids from her. And she's like, oh, she was trying to chase me down. So I got in her face. I held my oldest 2 in one hand. Like I had both of their hands and I held them into my one hand and I put them behind me. And I said, let me tell you something. You better back the hell up. Back up. Because I'm going to put hands and feet on you. And I said some other things that I will not say. But you going to move. So the security guard was like to telling her, like, let her go. I'm going to talk to her. So I got my oldest 2 and I brought them to my parents' car. Now, I was already thinking about mad stuff I could do. I was like, oh, I could go to Connecticut. My kid's father got family in Connecticut. We'll go to Connecticut and then we'll be on the run. And then I said, girl, you can't do stuff like that. And then it was like police was there. Everybody was there. CPS worker was there. And she was like, I got to take them. And they did. They took them. They let me get their special pillow and their blanket. And when they came in the room, to get their stuff, they was like, wow, like everything is so nice and clean and organized and you have all this stuff. I said, listen, I might not be the best mom in the world right now because of this relationship that I'm in. But one thing I could say, no matter what, and some people may think different, I knew I was a good mom. I know I'm a great mother now, but that time, I was still a good mom. My kids never missed an appointment, or if they did, it was rescheduled and we went. Their shots was up to date. Their dentist was up to date. My son wasn't even 1 yet, and he was already using the bathroom. Okay? So, very good mom. I was just dealing with a whole lot, and they had to unfortunately pay that price at the time. So I didn't fully forgive myself for that situation until, let's just say 2 years ago. Like before I got married, I finally let that go, that guilt go. And I'll tell you why as we get further into the stories. But how they handled me was crazy. At the same time, I get it now. At the same time, like, my worker that was at the shelter was like, well, can we work something out? She's a really good mom. She works. Is there any way, like, he could just leave and she could just stay with the kids and then y'all could come and do, like, weekly checks? And he was just like, no. So they took him. So anyway, my kids got taken away. And the next day, I had to sign a paper, me and their biological father, to basically give custody to my mom and dad. And it was either do that or have them in the system. And I was not going to do that. So I signed my rights over to my parents. Like when that happened and they finally left, I was in a state of shock. And I was on Zoloft at the time. I don't know. Like when I say my reaction wasn't the reaction that needed to be. Like, I was in a state of shock. Like, I could not believe me, Jessica, doesn't have her children. Like, my children are my everything. Right. I am now dealing with the shock of not having my children. And instead of him, I guess, like, consoling me, he was like enraged, like, oh, this is your fault. This is your fault. You should have never called the police on me. You should have never did this. We should have never had an order protection. Like, you know, you did this, you did this, you did this. Never taking any responsibility for his actions. And I never really processed at that time, like, everything that happened. I just had to keep pushing. I had to pack up everything. I had to move everything out. I think the shelter gave me like 2 weeks to get, you know, their stuff out of, you know, their storage and to put into my own. Excuse me. So I had to do all of that on my own. And what he did, instead of caring, he didn't go to court. And like, he signed the paper that weekend, but he didn't go to court that week, so that way they can go to my mom and dad. So I was just there at court. And honestly, how the court system treated me, though, was crazy, because I know I was wrong. So I'm not here, you know, on this platform trying to, like, draw sympathy or something like that. Like, oh, they did me so wrong, but they really did, though. As far as what I had to do to get my kids, like, I had to do all these classes, which I knew I had to do. And I had to do, like, weekly drug tests and things like that. And that man didn't have to do anything. I guess they figured, hey, you the mother, you know better. True. At the same time, what about father? But I learned, not at that time, because it took me a long time, but I learned now, and I can say it now, I shouldn't have been worried about what he doing. I should have only been worried about what Jessica needs to do. So as time went on, I completed all my I completed all my classes within a month and a half. I was not playing. Definitely was hopping from place to place because I didn't have a place at that time. I don't know. I just didn't feel the need to now have a home because I didn't have my kids with me. And then they were with my parents. And then a lot of things were shaky. Like, really not for my dad and me. Like, our relationship was okay still. But me and my mom really went through a lot. We had some issues prior. But, you know, no matter what we go through, we always look out for each other. I just felt like, I don't know, maybe she was just disappointed in how I was leading my life because she wanted better for me. She knew I can do better. So it was like a lot of comments that I wouldn't say to my child, but she said to me, and I will not share that on here. And this is not to bash my mom. I'm just being honest on my story and what happened. But yeah, so I don't know, like, that situation, the situation of me losing my kids, the situation with my family and how everybody looked at me, it just kind of motivated me to get to the bag in a bad way. It wasn't even like, oh, I'm gonna go and get a job. I did get a job, because that's one thing, like, I'm always gonna work. So I started a job at a new nursing home. I was doing that. And then I was going to sign up for some classes so I could learn how to, like, draw blood and do things like that. But I was waiting for funding to come from the workforce center. So while I was doing that, I was working at a nursing home and I was working security at the time. So I was trying to bust out these jobs. And I was still like, this is not enough money. This is not enough money. And I was living out of my car at the time. And a lot of people say and have said to me, like, at that time, and it was like I would tell people, like, yeah, I'm living out of my car. I didn't look like what I was going through. Let me tell you, I was buying a new wig every week. I would shower at the gym. I would go from one job to the other job, you know, shower at the gym. I was eating fine. I had money in my bank account. I was paying like $600 a week in child support and still taking my kids out every week. Nothing stopped. Like, and that was before I got into the lifestyle of making fast money. I just felt like me making Okay, they was taking about $559, $600 for me a week. And I just felt like between both jobs, I was only bringing in a week like 800, and no overtime or nothing, but because I got to spend time with my kids. I just felt like that was not enough money for me. So my kid's father was like, oh, let's flip this, let's do this, let's do that. Let me just tell you something. He cannot sell anything. And I'm not saying this to say like, oh, go out here and sell drugs and do this and do that. But what I'm going to say is going to sound bad, but I'm just being very transparent. Anything I do, okay, good or bad, I do it with excellence. And I know that's kind of like, what? Like, girl, that's not excellent. No, that lifestyle is not cool. But I've sold drugs before, and I was good at it. I knew not to tell nobody what I was doing, and I did what I needed to do. And I said, I didn't broadcast nothing. He was always a show out, like he wanted people to know, like he got it. And that's why he ain't never make no money. And that's why, like, he clung on to me, because I was that bag. So I was grossing in about $2,000 a week on that money alone, plus my job. But I still started getting greedy now because I'm used to the lifestyle. So then we about to open up a new chapter, and maybe I should do a part 9 to this, but I'll finish off a little bit in here. The drug money wasn't enough for me. Me working wasn't enough for me. I was beginning to be greedy because I love the money. And at this point in my life, I knew, like, if God was trying to tell me something, he told me when I lost my children. And instead of me staying on a path, like I did my programs and I did everything that I had to do, but instead of me finishing out that path by leaving their father alone, getting a place and earning money the hard way, like, the hardworking way, like going to work and maybe picking up overtime instead of having to go sell drugs, I didn't care. Like, I wanted what I wanted, and I was not listening to God, and I felt like I couldn't hear him anymore. Ooh, that makes me emotional. It does. It really does. Because I didn't listen. I did not listen to him. So now at this point, I stopped praying because I felt like I was so filthy. Like, how can I ask God for anything? And that's little. I didn't know any better, because if I knew better, I would have known, like, that's when I needed to pray. That's when I needed to get into my word. But at that time, it was just like, all right, well, I'm lost now, so let me just be lost. So the drug money wasn't enough. Like I said, I was making at least $2,000 for that a week, and then I was making almost $1,000 a week between my other jobs. But again, $600 was being taken away, so I only really have $400 from my job. So I felt like instead of, from both jobs, I only have $400 for myself, and I had like a car payment, I had car insurance, and I was not going to lose my car because that was where I was at. Like, I was steady in my car. Like, I lived in my car. And if I would have went to a shelter as a single person, I would have paid a lot of money. So I felt like this was the best option. A gym membership so I can shower every day, twice a day, whatever, in my car. And I got me a little storage. I was paying like $90 a month. It was just better for me to do that. But that still wasn't enough money for me, because we were going out all the time, eating out, taking the kids out every day, if not every other day, shopping, just to kind of make up for me being a shitty mom. Because how can I say it? Like, I've never missed a beat as a mom, but I was beating myself up as a mother, and all my kids really wanted was me. I just felt like I had to give them something extra because of all that I did. So I was selling drugs, I was working, seeing my kids every day, still going through issues with my family here and there with the things they would say about me. And then I said, I need to make more money because this is not enough. So then I got into the whole Backpage and Craigslist thing. I would make ads. And I wasn't sleeping with nobody, so let's just put that out there. I wasn't sleeping with anyone, but I would do weird things for money. It was called like fetishes. I can never say that word right. I used to be able to, but now as I'm getting older, this dyslexia is really like bugging out. But it's called a fetish. I would do different fetishes. Oh my goodness, why can't I say the word? Anyway, I was doing weird stuff for money. for a lot of powerful people. And we're going to get into that in the next video. I promise I'm going to do it within the next hour. But when I say there's a lot of weird people, especially on Long Island, judges, lawyers, fire chiefs, everybody, let's get it.
Ooh, we're going to have to save that. We're going to have to save that weird fetish story for the Discord that we're going to start for for the freaky people. Now, if y'all want to pay to see, if y'all want to pay to be on the Discord, then we go definitely have that one on the freaky channel, because I do want to start one, because I know half of y'all are nasty than a mug, and we go, you know, hey, everybody do something. But anyway, damn, bruh, I ain't gonna lie, man. I just want to say, like, yeah, you know what? I ain't never wanted to beat my women up that bad. I ain't never wanted to beat my woman up that bad. Now, have my woman pissed me out? Yeah, absolutely. Have I been in a domestic situation? Yes, I have. In fact, I have a domestic situation. And I regret that to this day. And I'll be like, hell no, never again. Never again. Because you know what? It wasn't this. It definitely wasn't this. It wasn't giving choking out till you go to sleep. It wasn't giving black eyes and getting our kids taken away. But it was definitely giving. It wasn't right. But I'm gonna tell you this. Whenever stuff is happening like that, you gotta know how to walk away. And the hardest thing to do is to walk away when you love somebody. And when you love somebody and they doing wild shit, and you gotta walk away. And not only that, to walk away and they being you gotta walk away. Man, I ain't sure. Just to tell y'all, like, just to tell y'all, like, man, don't ever when actually no, I ain't you know what, this what I'm gonna tell y'all. I know why women don't call the cops. It's just like, nigga, for what? Like, you know what I'm saying? So when women be like, when we be looking at situations like this, like, you ain't call the cops, you be like, bro, it ain't even worth it. I'ma still hit that shit again. That's my y'all be thinking about it. When he get out, I'ma fuck it again. But he ain't going nowhere. He coming back home. That's what we be thinking, which, you know. But that's toxic, man. Those are toxic relationships, man. And on God, like, once you get out of that, and luckily, the older I got, the more I realized when I was in a toxic relationship that I'd be more headstrong in it. And then I realized I was getting sucked into a toxic relationship more and more. And I'd be like, man, what the fuck? What the fuck is going on? I be in whole situations and be like, man, bro, this is not my life at 2:00 in the morning going through, fighting the chick off. Be like, man, what the fuck is going on? You know? That shouldn't be nobody's life, you know what I mean? But then that happens, you know what I mean? But and it'd be crazy to, it'd be crazy that like you know, when you be man, man, toxic situations, man, they just how you they'll have you messed up in your head. And then you know the wild part is she got blamed for everything. Everything that was going on was she blamed. Oh, you did that. Man. And when you be in a relationship, man, fuck it. I did everything wrong. And then you could say when you in a fucked up you in a toxic relationship, you be like, all right, I did this wrong. I did this wrong. I did everything wrong. And they be like, yep, you did. Yep, you did. You're just wrong. And I'm like, nigga, what? So okay, so if I did this wrong, leave me the fuck alone. But no, they don't want to leave you alone because they don't want to leave you alone. But you so wrong. You so wrong. You so wrong. They want to stalk you. They want to stalk who you with. They want to chase you down. They want to come to your house. They want to do everything to you. They want to see who you with. They want to see who they want to talk about you, your family, your kids, everybody. They want to do everything bad to you, but you wrong. If I'm so wrong, why you bothering me? I'm wrong. I ain't called you. I don't text you. I don't come to your house. I don't gotta do none of that. But I'm wrong. I'm gonna tell you I'm wrong. Yep, I'm wrong. I'm wrong. I'll be that. Shit. Call me wrong. You know what I'm saying? Call me wrong. Call me this. Call me bad. Call me everything you want to. Whatever. Call it. But then everybody be like, "Oh, well, that's narcissistic behavior. That's narcissist. You just admitting and saying that you just do." Man, listen, nigga. Hey, listen. Y'all ever been in a toxic relationship like this woman? Y'all ever been in a toxic relationship? She sitting over there like, damn, what did I do? Did I not make this nigga breakfast? Did I not like? I thought I did everything right. No, you can't do no right. You can't do no right. You know what I mean? So in a person's mind, um, you can do everything. You could do everything. You could try to do everything, but then here's another thing. The one thing you is the one thing is once you quit doing anything, just stop. Then they're gonna be like, oh, you don't do enough. You don't do enough. You're not doing this. You're not doing that. Well, shit, fuck it. When I was doing everything, it wasn't enough. So I ain't gonna do shit. So, nigga, I rather do nothing and get no credit than do everything and get shitted on. You know? So that's how you handle that. You know? And that sucks. It really sucks. It really sucks. You know what I'm saying? Because people act like that, you know what I mean? And everybody think that like, you know, there's a lot of men narcissists, but there are female narcissists too. There are female narcissists too. And, pray for them too. You know what? But hey, this is what I will tell you. This is what I will tell you. Um, those same people, those same people, that same person who want to watch you look at like this girl right here. They looking at her. You ain't gonna be shit. You ain't never gonna be shit. You down. You a felon. You lost your kids. Your baby daddies hate you. Your this and that, all that. Everything they say about you, they looking down and talking down about you. Everything they say and do about you, they talking down about you, right? Then on the other end, on the opposite end, when you do better than them, when you look better than them, when you growing stronger than them, you smelling better, you get better, they afraid to look at you in your eye because they don't want to face the truth. They don't want to face the truth. And guess what? Everybody's gonna turn against you. Everybody don't. This is why don't ever trust nobody. This is why I never trust another. I trust people's family, but I'm gonna have a hard time trusting people's family. I don't trust people's family. I don't like women with kids. I don't like a lot of shit because of relationships, because of how people talk to me, how people treated me when I was doing good, when I was trying to be good, when I was trying to better myself, and come from where I've been to now where I'm going. And everybody, I'm telling you, that look down on you where you was at when you up at the top, they don't want to look up at you. So fuck them. Everyday people, I'll holler at y'all later. Peace.